Yes, him do. There he is right there. He just had him's chicken. Him did. Rockham just had him's chicken him. Hello, Rocky. Hello. Here he comes. Look at him. He's pretty cute. Pretty cute. Let me turn on the light here. Hey, you. Oh, my goodness, Rocky. So how are you today? How are you this evening? Hey, what can we see here? It's hard for me to see what's appearing on the screen right now because it goes all white. When I when I turn on the light, the screen goes all white. I can't really breathe like this, so I'm going to have to make him get off me. As much as I love having him here with me, I'm going to have to make him get off me. Okay, get off me, little man. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. It was kind of a nothing burger of a day. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I just kind of hung out here. I was outside to take the garbage up to the road. And I was outside again to recharge the power box off the generator. But otherwise, I've just been in here laying in the bed and nursing my sore leg. I've got paper towel all saturated with peroxide that I keep on my sore leg continuously, and it is helping. It's definitely helping. But yeah, and as you can see, I'm petting Rocky here. I'm just rubbing his tail. He has a beautiful tail, you know. Look at the beautiful stripes on his tail. Yeah. You have a beautiful tail, Rocky. You do. You have a very beautiful tail. You have a lovely tail. You do. I like Rocky's tail. I like his raccoon stripes on his tail. I do. Yes, I do. Anyway, he's got a very fluffy tail, too. He does. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it for now. Yeah, eh? And there's my good boy, Rocky. Hello, Rocky. Hello, my beautiful pet. Yeah, eh? Quite the cat, I'll tell ya. Anyway, that's it for now. Rocky and I are getting ready to call it a day soon. I don't know where he is. Can we see him? There he is. Okay, I got him now. I can see the movement of my hand, so that's how I know where he is. Because I see movement more than I do details when the screen's got that opaque white color to it, because I've got the light on. Anyway, there he is. You're wonderful, you know. There's a lot of people out there really love you. There are. Because you have such a powerful energy about you. You do. You have a very powerful, good energy, Rocky. It turns out people are now really just discovering or possibly rediscovering. I think it could be a case of rediscovering ancient knowledge. But people are now discovering the power of frequencies. It's kind of interesting because if you look at the old science fiction show Star Trek from the 1960s, the doctor on that show, Dr. McCoy, he healed injuries and illnesses using sound frequencies. Also, the communicator they had there that they all carried was basically a flip phone. You know, there's a lot of things on that show from the 60s that we later ended up having. things that were science fiction back then, but then became reality. But like I say, one of the things is the use of sound frequencies for medical purposes. And also, okay, Rocky. Okay, get off me, sweetie. It does make it hard to breathe. I love to have him here with me, but I'm struggling with my breathing, lately. In fact, I'm going to open the window, get some more air in here. Holy smokes. My lungs aren't great. Anyway, I believe what's happening, and I think one of the reasons why the powers that be, the people who pretty much run the so-called system, are trying to crack down on us and get rid of us and so on. I think a big part of the reason for that is the average person now has access to knowledge and so on that we didn't have before. And I think that they see us now as a threat. And also a lot of the lies that they told us have been uncovered as lies. And I think that, they're scared of us at this point because we outnumber them and we're figuring stuff out. We're figuring out that they've been lying to us and manipulating us and basically screwing us over for a very long time. And they're afraid of what we will do. And so this is the reason why now they're talking about depopulation. They're talking about, that there may be an alien invasion. That there will be one, most likely, but it will be a fake alien invasion. It'll be staged. It won't be what it's presented as. They'll use AI and holographic technology and different things like that to make it appear that it's a real alien invasion, but it won't be. President Ronald Reagan, and I believe it was in 1986, in a speech, he posed the question of what it would take to bring the entire world together as one unit, basically, for the common good. And he said an alien invasion would do it. Well, you see, they want to push a world government, which the Bible considers the beast system. The Bible refers to the world government in the end times as the beast system. And they want to have absolute control. Basically, they want to run a tyrannical system. And they know they can't do that with the numbers of people they have here either, though. They got to eliminate a lot of us. And that's what they're in the process of doing, is eliminating a lot of us. Because we outnumber them, Anyway, we're seeing the beginnings now, at least I believe, this is my opinion, of the beast system. And I think an alien invasion would force a world government upon us pretty quickly, And that's the goal, is to force a world government upon us. Well, those of us who are still alive, a lot of us won't be. I mean, an alien invasion could also then be blamed for taking out a huge number of people, because they could just, the powers that be could kill a lot of us who are pretending to be these aliens that are invading and using AI and holographic technology to cloak actual weapons that they're controlling, that they're actually using to kill people. And they could blame it all on the aliens. It's actually a perfect scam if you look at it. But I do believe that the fact that there's a lot of things being talked about and discovered now, a lot of stuff about Nikola Tesla and free energy, pulling free energy out of the ether, which Nikola Tesla actually demonstrated could be done. Healing diseases, including cancer, through sound frequencies, which there was a doctor back in the 1930s. I can't think of his name offhand now, but there was a doctor back in the 1930s who did this and demonstrated that it was possible, and he was ruined. He was utterly destroyed by the system for having done that. But he documented everything, and he had quite a few patients that he cured of supposedly incurable cancers at that time using sound frequencies. Rife was his name. In fact, there's a machine he uses called a Rife machine. Now, no doubt there's some quacks out there now selling what they call a Rife machine, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but that's what happens a lot of the time, you know. Maybe some variations of that machine that are being sold do work. I don't know, but anyway, this Dr. Rife, he actually did use sound frequencies to cure cancer. And there is a machine called a Rife machine that people do use for healing. They claim it works, you know. Like I say, I don't know. I know that Dr. Rife himself, when he did it, he had success doing it, and he did document it. You know, grounding to the earth. People talk about grounding themselves to the earth and the benefits of that. You know, it's taking your shoes off and having your naked feet on the ground. Or there's people who will, you know, basically put a grounding rod outside and run a cable into their house or whatever and ground their bed or whatever. Now, I think there could possibly be an issue with that if in a thunderstorm. I don't know, but maybe there's a way of doing it so that that's not an issue. I don't know, but anyway, there's people doing things like that who also claim to be having success. That'll bugger up the pharmaceutical industry in a big way, you know, if these things prove to be true, which they appear to be doing. There's so many things now as people wake up to reality that really the powers that be are looking at it all like it's a huge threat, which to them it is. It's their wealth and their power is largely derived from keeping us fearful and ignorant and dependent on them. Really, it's an abusive relationship, is what it is. It's similar to an abusive marriage, where one person convinces the other person that they can't live without them, you know, and basically, you know, they lie and manipulate and bully to make sure that the other person stays in their place, basically, you know. That's what's been happening with us and the elites for literally for thousands of years. And now people are waking up. So, like I say, we're in interesting times, and that they're tough times in a lot of ways. But it's also a great honor to be alive in these times and to be witnessing what's happening. As tough as it is, and believe me, I've had it pretty tough. So I mean, for me to say that is really something, you know, because you'd think somebody in my situation would be very resentful about it all. But I'm looking at it and I'm just saying this is really interesting. I'm resentful towards the elites that are doing all the bad stuff and have been doing the bad stuff. You know, the globalists, who I believe are the modern equivalent of Nazis. But I'm not resentful that I'm living in these times, because I think if I'm living in these times, we all have a purpose in the world. And if we're living in these times, myself and anybody listening to this too, you're in these times or you wouldn't be hearing what I'm saying. If you're living in these times, you have a purpose in these times. There's a reason you're here now. You know, there's a reason you're here now and not in the past or in the future. You're here now. Anyway, it is kind of an honor to be living in these times and to be witnessing these things as frightening as a lot of it is, and as hard as a lot of it is, and it is hard. It takes an especially hearty person to endure some of the stuff we're having to endure. And as I said, I've had to endure a lot, so it's a big thing. For me to say that, that's a big thing, you know, to acknowledge that I'm actually blessed to be living in these times, such as they are. And I'm not sure just what my role in all of it is yet. I figure when the time comes, I'll know. Maybe my role in all of it is just to do what I'm doing now, just to talk and to encourage people, and to point out the fact that Jesus does win, God does win, Yahweh wins, Father Yahweh, he always wins. And he'll win this time too. That doesn't mean that Lucifer isn't going to kick our butts for a while, though. You know, I mean, look, God allowed Lucifer to kick Job's butt. Kick Job's butt. To kick his butt. He let him kick his butt. But he also limited him in certain ways. And in the end, after it was all done, over and done with, and Job had been loyal to God, God blessed Job, and everything that Job had lost, he got back and more. He got paid back several times, you know, what he lost, and went on to have a really good and blessed life. But, you know, sometimes before the blessing comes the pain, and that's what we're enduring now. And it's possible for a lot of us the blessing isn't going to come in this life. It may come in the next life, which is even better, really. I mean, if an earthly blessing is great, imagine what a heavenly blessing must be like, you know. Anyway, all I know for certain is that there's a lot of scams have been run on us for a long time. People are beginning to wake up to it, and the powers that be are frightened. And that's the reason behind a lot of the weird stuff that's happening now. And if Project Bluebeam, which is the plan for the alien invasion, or the fake alien invasion, if that is implemented, just be aware that things are not what they will appear to be. You know, basically don't believe your lion eyes. That's what it boils down to, because, you know, it's going to be a pretty elaborate hoax, is what it's going to be, and it's going to look real, and it's going to be terrifying. And that may very well be what brings the Antichrist to power, you know. But anyway, we'll see. Film at 11, as they say. You know, we'll see what happens. They were predicting it for last year, and it didn't happen last year. So, but that don't mean it won't happen. It has been planned. It's been on the books for a long time. It was on the books back in the 50s, the idea of an alien invasion. And we've been very well conditioned to anticipate something like that, and to not be surprised when it happens, you know. So, yeah, everything's a scam. It's really sad. But like I say, Yahweh, the Father God, Yahweh, and Yeshua, Jesus, they're not scams. There's a lot of stuff within organized religion that's scammy, but the basics are not scams. The Bible and Yahweh and Yeshua, they are not scams. Anyway, and they will win. These evil people we're dealing with now, their time is running out. And they know it too, and they're running scared. That's all, they're just running scared because they know their time is up. Anyway, that's it for now. Rocky, I think, is asleep in his box. Let's have a look at him, because he's a blessing all on his own, after all. So we have to look at him. There he is. There's my good boy. Hey, look at him. Isn't he sweet? He's a real sweetheart. He is. He is that. All right. Anyway, Looked like he was cleaning himself there, giving himself a good old tongue bath. Anyway, this is it. It's good night, I think, because it is 10 o'clock. I'm going to stay up probably for another hour or so, and then I'll go to sleep. Anyway, good night, everybody. Hope you have a good night or day or whatever it is wherever you are. We cover a lot of time zones on this interwebs deal. So anyway, that's it. We'll talk to you later.